Hey guys, while this video is going to touch on what I don't want you to do, let me take a minute and shout out what I do want you to do. Go find me on Snapchat, somewhere always, minus the last A. Go ahead and add me if you want to see more of my crazy facial expressions, hear more of my ridiculous opinions, and then while you're at it, go ahead and add me on Twitter and Instagram. Same handle, don't fight the urge, just do it. Now, I really wish this video wasn't necessary. I wish all you English-speaking jerks knew that your behavior was inappropriate and would stop. But as I've come to realize, you jerks don't realize you're jerks. Occasionally, every now and then, I do fall into that category, but more often than not, I'm looking at other English speakers like, are y'all crazy? Like, were you raised to be a savage? Or did you just develop into one in your adulthood? Now, what sparked this is something that happened a few days ago when I was on a field trip with my school. We're rolling about like 40 to 50 kids deep, got a whole goon squad of kindergartners. So we moved our stuff over to the space that another school was at. Now, given we totally infringe on their space, so any gripes they had were legitimate. And as I'm walking up, I see the two secretaries at my job talking to another woman. Now, I don't know what's being said, but I'm looking at facial expressions that are not very pleasant, that you would not talk to your boss, coworker, or maybe even your friend that way, because your friend may slap the piss out of your mouth. As I get closer, I hear the girl talking and I'm being blocked and surrounded by mats. You guys put your mats here and like, I need a path. I just heard the Charlie Brown noise. Wah, 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 wah. And the two secretaries at my school don't speak English. Now, at that point, I had walked up and my three coworkers, they clearly speak English. At no point does this girl, who is a native speaker, decide to come up and talk to any of us. Instead, she sits there with her students giving these like miserable looks and stop breathing so deep. Another woman walks past us and instead of talking to us, talks over us. What's going on here? I don't know. They just showed up here. We need a path or something. I look at my director and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna move these kids right quick because if this girl comes back and says anything disrespectful, I'm gonna have a really big problem. My director, who knows me so well, is like, girl, do you boo, move the mat. As I'm moving the mat, the girl comes back up. Again, instead of talking to me, she goes to my director, who's a Korean woman. And excuse me, so like we need a path. I chime in, yeah, I know, I got that. She then looks at me, but again chooses to look at my director. Okay, but you know, we just really need a path to, yeah girl, I'm a step ahead of you, I'm moving the mat, thanks, bye. All of my coworkers were kind of like, yo, she was super aggressive for no reason. Like, you could have just easily spoke to any one of the foreign teachers and that could have been solved in a minute. Instead, he chose to go to the woman who didn't speak English and then belittle them as you're talking to them in a language they don't speak. You're a jerk. Now, I know you're thinking, but T, she could have just been a bad person. It has nothing to do with the fact that she speaks English. This is not something that it's like a first time I witnessed someone belittling Korean or choosing to speak to Koreans in a tone that they wouldn't speak to native speakers in. They somehow expect that Koreans are going to speak their language. I know in a previous video, I said that I get angry when Koreans pretend not to know English, and I meant exactly that. There are Koreans who know English and try to speak to me. I really appreciate it. There are Koreans who don't know English, and it doesn't bother me because I live in their country. And frankly, I'm a jerk because I don't know Korean. I don't somehow feel empowered because I speak English. This is like underlying existence, especially in Korea, of foreigners who somehow think that they're better because they speak English. Y'all are just convinced that English is like this master language and that when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with tablets in his hand, the 11th commandment was thou shalt speak English. I want to make it abundantly clear that I don't just mean Americans. Americans get this really bad rap for being kind of ridiculous, which we are. But British people and South Africans and like Australians are somehow totally legit. No boo, I'm talking to all of y'all too. Especially British people. Y'all mask your superiority complex in British sensibilities. I've had British people try to belittle me and my English because I speak American English and they speak the Queen's English. The Queen is not paying my student loans. The Queen is not helping me grow my edges back. No shade to her, but I'm not pressed to speak her English. I'm very good with my words and I've had British people who try to belittle me as if I don't understand English. Every time they say something sarcastic or something slick and I have to call them on it, they say, oh, it's just my British sensibility. No, it's you being a superior uptight jerk. That's what it is. There is this like sense of power that comes with speaking English. I guess it's just like an inner city black girl, daughter of an immigrant. I don't understand because in America, I'm like at the bottom of every totem pole. But I guess if I wasn't at the bottom of the social totem pole and I spoke English and then I traveled abroad, I would feel pretty empowered too. But ladies, gentlemen, and lowlifes, please humble yourselves. There are thousands of other languages in the world. You realize that, right? I've realized this on my travels, and I've fallen into this category on my travels. When I was in Vietnam, I think I bought like a dragon fruit from a woman, and I went to say thank you, and I realized I didn't even learn how to say thank you in Vietnamese. Who goes to a country and doesn't learn how to say just like the basic things in the language? Now, I thought I was a unique a-hole, and I really felt bad. Only to go back to my hostel, I realized that none of the English English speakers, and the majority of the people there were English speakers, learned anything about the Vietnamese language. They just naturally assumed that, hey, Vietnam speaks a lot of English, so they're gonna be able to talk to me. How pompous can you freaking be? I also see this in English speakers refusing to learn foreign names. I read it somewhere online where they were like, if you can say Galifianakis, you can say my name. I feel them on that. Galifianakis? Like, what the hell is that? But y'all can't say Kim Min Hee? Kim Min Hee. 3 syllables is stressful. English speakers are just innately jerks. Obviously, I'm an English speaker and I really have to fight against my natural desire to be a jerk. If you're an English speaker and you think you're not scum, I would love to hear how you step out of your comfort zone when you encounter other languages. If you are an English speaker and you acknowledge that you're a scumbag, like a repeat offender, I would love to hear you call yourself on your own stuff. I have a feeling this video is gonna get so many thumbs downs, but I don't care. I watch English speakers do the most jerky things abroad. So go ahead and subscribe, click the thumbs up, and I will see you next week with another video.